ThaBoxingvoice.com live here with Eddie Hearn. Eddie, so how are you, man? You're in New York. Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua. What's your thoughts?
I'm excited. We had a good show last week. Devin Haney was unbelievable. And this is a big week for us, not just for Anthony, but for Matchroom and myself and Dazn and Sky. And that's why we're starting on Monday. You know, a lot of activity to get through this week. A lot of broadcasters coming from all around the world. And I'm excited, a little bit nervous, because tonight every question is, when you fighting Wilder, when you fighting Wilder, and I think we've got a guy who genuinely believes he can win, will do everything he can to win in Andy. I think he's underrated, he's underappreciated, and I believe AJ will win by knockout, but I do think AJ needs to be focused purely on Saturday, and that's difficult to do when everybody's asking about what's next.
Do you think that there's pressure on AJ to perform in a spectacular fashion due to the Wilder knockout?
I think there's always pressure to perform. I thought Wilder was brilliant last Saturday. I think AJ fights a little bit differently to Wilder in that he's a little bit more calculated. He's not so vulnerable as he used to be because he's learning about the art of boxing, but he loves to fight and he loves to scrap. And I think Ruiz will bring that. And I think it's pretty obvious what Ruiz will do. He will come out from the first bell, he will move his head, he will walk him down, he'll try and work the body, he'll try and wing him over the top, and he'll make AJ fight. AJ's got to try and keep his discipline. I think the main thing is maintaining the focus. Like Miller pushed all the buttons. You know what I mean? It was like AJ wanted to beat him up bad. And with Ruiz, it's more like, okay, like he likes Ruiz. He respects Ruiz for stepping up to the challenge. So the mindset's changed. Ruiz is just like, I'm going to knock him out. All I've got to do is get my hands on him. So we know what Ruiz is going to do, but for AJ, it's just a case of all this talk is irrelevant unless you win on Saturday. New environment, new time zone, new commission, new venue, new ring. That's all coupled with the drama, but it's an amazing achievement to come to Madison Square Garden. I'm very proud of him, very proud of our company for putting on the World Heavyweight Championship at MSG. It's a dream come true. For him, he doesn't really realise. He was just doing some stuff with the media there, and he was like, yeah, it's just a fight. I'm like, mate, you're from Britain, right? You're headlining at MSG. It's going to be sold out on Saturday night. It's going to be amazing. It's like, it's just a fight. So, but it's not. It's a brilliant achievement. It really is. And he's just got to win. That's all that matters in life. Sport, business, whatever it is. You've just got to keep winning.
Can you walk us through how Andy Ruiz got here? I was just talking to his lawyer manager who says that it started from social media. Did you actually DM?
He DM'd me and said, basically what happened was, when he left Top Rank, he DM'd me and said, you know, have you got anything for me? And we spoke a little bit. He ended up signing with PBC, and then just before his Dimitrenko fight, or maybe just after, he messaged me and said, please give me the opportunity against Joshua. I will bring it. I will let my hands go. I will beat him. And I was like, okay. The issue with Andy is it's just his physique, because we all know in boxing he can fight like fuck. But to the casual, they look at him and go, oh, who's this guy? He's not in Joshua's shape. He can't win. So that's the only thing holding him back. Right? If he was ripped, he'd be a hero in Mexico. A heavyweight, a Mexican heavyweight that can fight. So I had to go with my heart with the decision that I felt would entertain the fans, would give the fans value for money. I wanted someone that I knew would put his heart and soul on the line and could fight. Not someone that would just turn up for the money, be a little bit shell-shocked by the occasion and get knocked down around, and everyone goes, oh, Eddie Hearn, you're a joke. I know Ruiz will put his heart, his soul and his cojones into the fight, and it's a dangerous fight, especially in the early parts of this fight, because you saw it's a poor style for Joshua. You know, all the small guys who move well, it's never good for a 6'6" heavyweight.
I was going to say that, you know, Carlos Takam had success, Alexander Povetkin had success with the left hook, and obviously Dillian White. Do you think that Ruiz brings something similar to those men?
I think he brings sometimes more danger because of his hand speed. He's faster than those those guys. But he is small, he's 6'2", but so was Takam. I mean, when we say Takam had success, that was a withdrawal a week before. Povetkin, but this was at least 5 or 6 weeks, But Povetkin had success, but Povetkin is also a world-class heavyweight who not a lot of people want to fight. But for sure, the smaller guys against Joshua get more success. You know, you're punching down, they're coming in, they're moving their head, they're winging them over the top. I think Joshua is better, or more comfortable, I think is a better word, against the taller stand-up heavyweights. So I don't think he's yet registered the pressure on him this week. He's so relaxed at the moment. I hope he carries that through till Saturday. But I'm nervous, not just because of Ruiz, but because of the occasion. We're in your country, you know. We're not. This is not 90,000 Brits patting him on the shoulder. Yeah, AJ, you're. You know, this is 8,000 Brits, but still 11,000 Americans, probably quite a few Mexicans, new ring, like I said, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just hopeful that he can get the job done and we can try and move on.
Is part of your pressure because you want it to be in a specific fashion, so that, I mean, Dazn release numbers on Canelo. Would you like them to release numbers on AJ?
Yeah, for sure.
If the numbers came in.
I mean, the good thing is that we know that the numbers in terms of the viewership will be very solid, because I expect them to be well past Anthony's Showtime numbers when he was boxing in the UK. Okay, so can we hit the Showtime numbers that Wilder hit last week? Unlikely, in terms of subscriber numbers, but I don't think we'll be a million miles away. Can we drive new subscribers? Yes. Will we drive new subscribers like Canelo did? No, because part of this mission is to increase his profile in the States, and that's why we're here. To be honest with you, always the comments were, well, Joshua's not that big in the States. Okay, we'll come to the States and try and change that. It's part of the mission here. But the mission is always to win. And all this profile building, all this Wilder that, it's all irrelevant if you don't win. So that's really the focus of Saturday. But what I believe it's doing at the same time is building the profile of Anthony Joshua in this very important market.
I know you get this question a lot, but what do you think it's going to take to actually get this fight before it turns into
do you know what?
the Mayweather-Pacquiao saga?
I did a few interviews tonight, and I think I've understood what it's going to take. It's going to take Deontay to turn around to the people convincing him not to take this fight, because I believe he wants this fight, and say, sorry, make the fight. And I believe AJ, I said the other day that tonight, after this fight, touch wood, God willing, he wins, he puts it on Wilder and questions his manhood. One of them where you say, I dare you to fight me. Otherwise, we can only presume you're scared. And it's just going to take Deontay to sit at home and go, fuck it. Chelly, Al, make the fight. I don't want to fight Ortiz, don't want to fight Koronaki. Because at the moment, Nest, he's being convinced to take those fights, right? I don't know him personally, you probably know him better than me. I believe he wants to fight Joshua. You agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So therefore, what is stopping him? What is stopping him is people convincing him to go another route.
His biggest hiccup is
because you've changed your mindset a little bit. Like, listen, when me and you first met, right, it was all like,
yes.
And now I think even you,
I just want the fight.
No, but I think you also realise that we're game for the fight.
Yes.
But what's happening now is AJ 1,000,000% wants to fight. Right? I don't know Wilder. I believe he wants to fight. So therefore, and I can't stop AJ from taking this fight because he's the sole boss, right? But I believe that Wilder is getting shown a strategy that Al or Shelley's believing this is the right thing to do. Fight Ortiz next, then fight Konaki, then we'll look at Joshua, right? But it's going to take Wilder to say no. And he has the ability to do that. I'm not saying he gets told what to do by Shelley now. He has the ability to turn around and say no. I appreciate your advice and I understand the strategy, but I want this.
But this fight doesn't get bigger 2 fights from now. Like AJ
Nest, you're
doesn't
going
need
against
that.
everything you like.
I know
if
that
I would
I
have
am
said that
because
to you,
no.
Yeah, but Nest, if I would have said that to you 6 months ago, you would have gone no.
But I'm thinking for you. Just coming to America, does that make sense?
It doesn't matter what I think. Will this fight be bigger next year? Yes, is your answer. I can't. Joshua wants this now, not next year. He's not interested in fighting next year.
So we had Wilder on the show maybe 2 days ago.
He said some weird stuff. I don't know if it was your show. He went, I can tell you now the Joshua fight is not happening this year.
Yes.
But you never know in boxing, and it might just happen like that. So
well, he says you never know in boxing because they can make him an offer that he can't refuse. So I never had the opportunity to talk to you about the hiccup that he had at the meeting. He's expressed that to me thoroughly, and he was willing to take the 40 million. He was willing to take all those fights on Dazn, but he wanted to know what was Joshua getting. As a businessman, you have to understand no fighter goes into a fight not knowing what the sum of the pot is. So he was in within reason.
Do you know what? To be honest with you, like, I agree and I disagree. I think if you're happy with what you're getting, you shouldn't worry about what the other person was getting. Funnily enough, when I talk about the splits, I can tell you that 60-40-ish, probably a little bit more for Wilder. Like Joshua wasn't getting like 100 million or anything like that. But also, in this situation, Nest, like the way that this deal has panned out and the negotiations have panned out with John Skipper, because the pot holders, which is AJ and Deontay, effectively the people behind them, us and Shelley, won't meet, or that communication is broken down so badly. John is coming in to try and make it all work. So what he's coming in is saying, we're not pay-per-view, so it's not like there's no pot. So we're putting the money up, right?
There's more of us as well.
Sorry?
We're making a movie.
Sorry?
We got you, Garth.
Sorry? I thought you were amazing in Gladiator. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, so it was like John's coming in saying, okay, this is an offer that I feel you can. Then he go to AJ, he knows the numbers that we want. It wasn't massively different to the numbers that Deontay wants. Should he know the pot? Maybe, but there's not a pot. Because
But moving forward, now that you know that's his hiccup, that he just wants to know what his opponent is going to make, and that's common practice. I mean, Pacquiao knew what Mayweather made. Everyone knew. One got 200 and something.
We can do a split, no problem. It doesn't matter. But I'm trying to convince you that there's no communication. I'm here.
But there is now with John.
Yeah,
right?
but only with John. But John, there is no there is effectively no pot. So he's got to come to us and say, okay, Deontay's in. Are you in? Yeah. But it's like, what I'm trying to say is, in a normal situation, I'm in New York for 3 weeks, right? We would just meet with Shelley and go, Shelley, like, let's go to the marketplace. Doesn't matter if it's Dazn, doesn't matter if it's Showtime, doesn't matter if it's ESPN. Let's work together in this deal. But that communication is finished. It's over. They won't see me. They won't talk to me.
Adam Smith says Shelley's invited to the fight.
He is,
Deontay is as well, but he spoke to Deontay. Deontay also told us that he's not sure could he come. He has other obligations, but Shelley will be there. No intentions on.
Love to.
Okay.
Love to. I'm here for 3 weeks. I would meet him if he phoned me tonight and told me to meet him at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll be there. Honestly,
now,
because I know, like,
can you give
we've
me
been
your
through a lot,
reason?
but what I'm saying is I'm under pressure from AJ to make this fight. I have to make it.
What's your educated guess as to why they don't want it now?
Because they're trying to sell the PBC, and if they lose Wilder to another network or a fight like that to another network, it massively depletes the value of that company.
And they're not offering you any fights on their network either.
No, but I'm not bothered about what network it's on. Listen, if they want to offer the fight to Joshua on their network, we will consider that. But there's no offeredness, you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, we talk about the 50 million. I don't believe that was real. Even if it was, make another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Wilder just said that he thinks he should earn 100 million in this fight.
So he should get 100?
That's what Wilder said.
Oh, he can say it online.
Yeah, he said it. So that in that case, make Joshua an offer. But it's really frustrating because, you know, when you look at people like Bob Arum, right? Bob slagged me off for like 2 weeks solid, right? And then he phones me up the same day and goes, Eddie, let's talk about Lomachenko-Crolla. Right. I'm like, fuck, you've just slagged... Crolla, both of them, right? But, you know, if I was the kind of person to take it personally,
you wouldn't even answer the phone.
No, but I love the fact that he's up there going, Eddie Hearn doesn't know shit about US boxing. He's this, he's that, he's this. 2 hours later. So Eddie, do you want to make this fight? You know?
Yeah.
That's how you have to be in this sport. But with them, it's like, it's almost like...
Pride. It's a pride. That's what I'm telling you.
Ego.
Because he says, Nesta, they put me through so much in those 4 months.
We didn't.
When you,
Other people did, but anyway.
When you think you're gonna get something, then you don't get it. You're staying up late night because they're on a different time zone. You just want to find out. You're staying up late, then you don't get the call. Then when you do get the call, it's not a yes.
But that's not him. He's not involved in that process. I don't know what he was being told. But what I'm saying is that fight didn't happen then. So what are you going to do? Go through the next 2 years denying the public for the fight they want, denying the chance to be undisputed, denying the chance to make more money than you could ever dream of, just because a couple of months ago you didn't get what you wanted.
But you have to admit that a couple of months ago he didn't get what he wanted. You indicated that he needed to raise his profile. And he's done that,
yeah.
And now
but Ness, let me ask
tables
you
have
this.
turned in
What do
his
you think
opinion.
about the Barclays sales?
13,100
nowhere
tickets.
even fucking near it. You know that. Full of comps and not even 13,000.
I wouldn't be able to know if they were
Okay, you know the top tier was shut, right? You know that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, you know the Showtime numbers were
But you know that his 13,000, that's completely consistent with his normal numbers. Not like 13 was a bigger number than usual.
But why does Joshua do 19,000 at the Guardian?
Well, you said he's got 7, 8, or 10
7,000,
where it's coming.
yeah, 7,000.
That number's changed. You started at 10 on an IFL. Last week you said 8.
No,
This
we
week
thought
it's
we'd have
7.
10,000. We've got about 7 or 8,000 coming. We have got a Champions League game, which is Liverpool against Tottenham,
Yes.
which is the final. We've lost about 1,500. But we will have 19, whatever the max is, we'll have it in the Garden. You know, I'm saying is, I'm not saying Wilder doesn't have the value. I think Wilder's great. I love watching him fight. He's a brilliant fighter. He's so exciting. He's a great self-promoter. He's a world champion. For a guy who's working in the US market, it worries me that he don't fill up the Barclays Centre. He's a superstar.
It's about opponent. It's about opponent.
They had beef.
Beef that no one wanted to see, and a guy Joshua already beat in 7.
All I know is that if Wilder fought Brazil at the O2 in London, you'd sell 18,000 in 24 hours.
Speaking of O2 in London, speaking of Wilder, let's talk about Dillian White. Has the WBC gotten back to you on the petition to make Oscar Rivas final eliminator?
We're getting there. So one thing we know is that the Rivas fight will be for the interim world title, for the mandatory position.
But White already holds the interim.
No, he doesn't. He holds a silver.
Silver, okay.
Yeah. So for the mandatory position as well. But the good news is that because Fury confirmed that he will fight Deontay for the diamond title, after he beats Rivas, they will make Fury against White. Right? Deontay will be allowed to fight in October, November, and then he will have to fight Dillian White, provided he beats Fury. Yeah.
And you think Fury takes that fight?
Well, I'm only judging on what he come out publicly and said.
He said
I
if you
will
put it
fight
for the
him
emeritus title.
Diamond, yeah,
Diamond,
yeah. Which the WBC have confirmed it will be. So if he's a man of his word, he will fight Dillian White.
And you will let Dillian fight on ESPN, or is that a
or wherever it goes, wherever it goes. I mean, if there's an amazing offer, I can't stop him. You know, the way I work's very different to other people. So if there is this amazing offer that Dillian says I have to accept it, we do it. If it goes to purse bids, we bid for it. But
wouldn't you be upset if this fight is already for a silver and then you got to fight an eliminator versus Tyson?
You know, the only reason we even accept that is because the Fury White fight is so big, and he wants that fight. But I think it's amazing that he has to fight Rivas and Fury to get to Wilder.
Exactly.
But if the only way is that he becomes mandatory is if Fury pulls out, then Wilder has to fight him.
And what happens if Fury gets a shot at Wilder? They negotiate.
They can only do that in October, November this year, and then Dillian fights. Basically, Wilder's allowed another voluntary before he has to fight Dillian White. If Dillian beats Rivas, it's not an easy fight.
Yeah, I mean, we think he's going to beat him. We think it's so. Talk to us a little bit about Flip Hargrovic. He looked really good versus
he's a problem.
Greg Corbin.
Yeah,
that right hand was right on the money.
He's a problem. He's had 8 fights.
Where's his market? He's Croatian. Where?
I think in the US.
No, I know, but where? Like we know,
Chicago,
we know DMV.
New York. Yeah, Chicago, New York. You know, it's not really the same Croatian sort of territory like it's like the Polish territory.
Yeah, because I know DMV has a lot of Ukrainians.
The great thing is, that's why we're there.
Yeah, exactly.
The great thing is, he'll fight anyone now.
And that's what I'm getting to. He's already number 17 in the WBC. He beat Amir Mansour for that WBC Intercontinental title, or international title.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep him in the BC rankings?
To be honest, there's a lot of heavyweights that we represent at the moment, and others that we've worked with, who really need to fight each other. Let me give you a list. Michael Hunter, Hrgovic, Povetkin, Parker. I mean, even people we don't represent. Jenny.
Hrgovic is in that list to fight those same names?
Oh yeah, of course.
He's only 7-0.
Doesn't matter. He wants everyone now. He put his name forward for AJ.
So we're not going to see him versus like a Fabio Maldonado next?
No.
He's going to get a real name?
Yeah, 100%. He's ready.
Wow.
He can fight. Had an amazing amateur career as well.
Looks like it.
So.
What sort of name are you thinking for him next?
Can I come in now?
Sure, join us.
Hey, finally I get to
talk about Filip Hrgovic.
Oh yeah, very
Good
talented.
fighter,
What, the Serbian?
Yeah, Croatian.
Man, that man is a talent.
But the problem is,
you signed him yet?
Yes.
You are an animal. You are not just a promoter. You are an animal.
Thank you, Gareth.
Yeah?
The problem is a lot of those guys are looking at one easy fight and fight for the title. I'm talking about Povetkin, Parker, Hrgovic, Hunter, Joyce. Like all these people, they're all talking a good game. They've got to fight each other.
You actually mentioned Joyce, but he's with Frank Warren. You really can do.
You look like Joe Joyce. Do you know that?
People say that.
Turn the camera on yourself.
People
no,
say
you look like Joe Joyce.
No, I think people
You do look like Joe
I mean,
Joyce.
look at 2 really good heavyweights, Povetkin and Parker, right?
For Philip.
What?
For Philip.
No, I'm talking about maybe each other. Like they're guys, they're waiting for another shot at the title. But maybe an
a good
Ortiz,
fight,
another.
Povetkin.
Like Parker, Ortiz, great fight. Povetkin, Ortiz, great fight.
Those
Parker,
guys won't
Usyk.
take it though.
Yeah, but we've got to make them take it, Ness. They can't, you know.
Wow.
You
couldn't make poor Luis Ortiz take a $7 million.
I know.
Was it really $7 million?
You know it.
No.
You think
Was it $7 million? Was it really $7 million?
6.5 it was.
No, it wasn't.
You told us 6, didn't you?
That was the first.
Can you confirm if his manager was telling the truth? His manager says that it was the promotion day count. This is where we are right now. 6 million rematch at 10, come back at 1.5 million working on. What do you mean come back? What's that?
That's it. If he loses, I'll give him that to have a comeback fight.
Bring it in here.
Oh,
Bring it in here.
Call you around 5 p.m. Now read that one.
The camera's on now on
7
Eddie's
million
ear.
for June, 10 million for the
Who's doing the
Read it.
rematch.
Don't film
Who's doing
it.
the
Read it.
interview? Who's doing the interview? Dead ringer, baby.
Now.
It's a dead ringer, baby.
So this is the tweet he put out.
Right there.
remember?
Dead ringer.
Right? So I put, really? So he said, sorry mate, that's from the promoter. It's not from me or Lewis. I felt 7 was good enough for Joshua. I don't want to read this bit out because I think it's more personal. Right? But I only released that because I felt this is unfair on AJ. Because when he come out and said that lowball offer, I was like, you can't do that. So
Let me just
Now-
you're a little bit taken back by seeing that. aren't
Now
you?
what about
It's like, you know.
But is that the promoter's fault, Dade County?
Yeah, probably, but that's the manager who you saw, Jay Jimenez, who I have a lot of respect for. I like
Yeah,
him,
no.
you know what I mean?
He called the show.
Yeah, I know.
listen, man. I need
When
to
I
go
saw
and have
that-
Skype sex with my
But when
girlfriend really
I
soon, so
saw
need
that
to-
post, I was like, I have to put this out there. Like I can't. It's bad on AJ. Like
I'm not understanding what's going on. Why don't these people want this fight? But
Money.
Okay,
No,
because
explain
he's
to
probably
me.
fighting. He's probably fighting Wilder. Well, you know he's fighting Wilder.
Yeah, I mean, but it could be Kovnacki as well, or it could
Why
be
didn't
Fury.
Not in
Dillian
November.
White take the fight with him at Wembley? Should have taken it. It's life, egos, riven by egos, promotional contracts. Sorry to dive in, but I've got to go
go
and have
for it.
Skype.
If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.